It's Friday night football from the southeast of Melbourne, back at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex for the hometown Dandenong City. Still in with a shot to making the top six, but are absolutely ravaged by injury or other means. 3 first teamers out with suspension forces a bit of a rethink for Nick Tolios and co. While the Altona Magic come to town, looking to try and find a result here against Dandenong City and break a drought at this ground that spans over 5 years. It is Dandenong City and the Altona Magic on a Friday night from Frank Holohan Soccer Complex. My name is Oliver Walker-Peel, and back here once again, as he was last week, is Josh Byrne. And Josh, 0-0 last week for Dandenong City. We're hoping for more goals tonight.
Yeah, certainly, and with the amount of changes that City have been forced into, it's really a good chance for Altona to try and continue with a dry spell themselves in front of goal. So it's anyone's game. Lots of changes, and how they go for the teams as all the changes have come to fruition.
There is a lot of them. 3 are forced for Dandenong City. They've made another one on top of that to make 4. Out of the team from the Green Gully game drop Corey Sewell, Tom Yiannakopoulos and Jamie Latham, having all picked up their 5th yellow card in last weekend's encounter. Yacoub Mustafa drops to the bench for Kenny Athieu. Also in are Brad Plant, Valley Chesnick and Danny Kim. The full 11 as follows. Pierce Clark is in between the posts for Dandenong City. A back 4, we think, of Danny Kim, Nathan Hancock, Jackson Leno and Will Bauer, although that is subject to change. A midfield 3 of Valley Chesnick, George Lambadarides and Diego Cuba, with a front 3 of Brad Plant, Kenny Athieu and Tim Atherinos likely. For Altona, they make a couple of changes themselves as they look to try and find a win here. Out of the team drop Christos Theodorakopoulos and Connor O'Keefe. In come Mo El-Houli and Julian Rodriguez, and that full 11 as follows. Ilya Shalamanov Trenkov is in goal. It's a back 4 of Hiyori Kawaguchi, Taufik Olumuwewe, Dejan Bakadanakoski and Daniel Fabrizio, with Alex Gust, Sad Mukashar and Mo El-Houli in a 3-man midfield, with Julian Rodriguez, Bill Al-Habib and Anthony Frangi completing that Altona 11, Josh.
Yeah, it's probably one of the most consistent starting 11s in the comp. They rarely change. They've had other than one little blip a couple of weeks ago against Thunder, they've had a good defensive record. So it's going to be a challenge for City to even get anything.
Good defensive record against a team with a really poor attacking record as we get this one underway. Scored once in the cup via Jamie Latham against South Melbourne, and we're almost in there. Kenny Athieu looking for the ball in behind, but other than that, it's been a bit of a barren spell in front of goal, as we were talking about a little bit off air.
Yeah, certainly. They've only scored 1 in the last 3 league games, and that was an own goal as well. So take that South game out. It's a bit of a barren spell and a bit of a change with a few coming back into the starting lineup. Give a bit of a different dynamic and see if they can muster something with the defensive frailties that they have.
They're depleted defensively, but going forward they've certainly got names that can hurt other teams. As Hancock went for the clearance, it was charged down, and Pierce Clark with a one-handed manoeuvre try and keep it in play. The ball had gone out of play. Goal kick the call as Pierce Clark wanted to move things quickly, and move it quickly he did. He went goalkeeper to goalkeeper. But referee Puya Guderian just wanted things in order first.
So it's good to see Hancock out there after he suffered a nasty knock to the top of his head and couldn't come back on because he was bleeding profusely from it. So hopefully didn't have to have too many stitches. They attempted to glue him back then and there, but yeah, good to see that he's out there. And be interesting of how many big balls he's got ahead of today.
Janikowski is Altona look to get things going. It's a switch over towards Bill El-Habib, who will chest it down. He's inside the box and forcing a save out of Pierce Clark, who needed the help then from Lambadarides to turn it away, and he got it. First big chance of the game goes the way of Altona.
Cracking save from Clark there. Fostered a foot out. Denying Habib, and defensive frailties on show right there from the get-go.
And we talked about it a little bit off air that it's Dandenong City with a superior league position, but opportunity knocks tonight for Altona. Given you've got Gaku Inaba, the first choice left back, out through suspension. You've got Giannakopoulos and Corey Sewell, who would both be in the back four tonight, if available, out through suspension. So it is a makeshift back four, and already inside the opening couple of minutes we've seen that.
Yeah, and you're missing Webster as well with a potential long-term injury. 400-game veteran. It's your entire back four out. Bit of a makeshift one. Let's see how they muster up the rest of the game.
Worth mentioning, no Jacob Alexander too. He's only made one league appearance this season, but he's spent plenty of time in and around this league as Altona look forward again. Frangi was making the run down the line, the former Dandenong Thunderman. Out of play for a throw. Bit of talk early in the technical areas. We've got the screen ready in case we need it.
Ready for the VAR.
In very capable hands if we need a VAR, Josh. Given your prior history.
I'm not putting my hand up for that one.
Habib. Central. Forward towards Frangi. Smartly played to win it back by Diego Cuba. Looks like it's Valley Chesnick who is in fact slotted in at right back. George Van Baderides and Nathan Hancock at the heart of the defence, and Jackson Leno in at left back. So that's made a fool of the predictions that I went with, at least. Maybe I don't know Dandenong City as well as I thought I did.
Yeah, with Plant and a few kind of playing as more of a 4-4-2 kind of style without the ball there. We've done that. Did that a couple of times last week as well. So let's see if they continue to do this throughout the game.
I suppose that's why you harp on the point that it's subject to change, because when you're on the outside looking in, you have very little of an idea, and not as much of one as Nick Tolios has. Had a fair bit of thinking to do this week. Back in Anakoski, looking long, and trying to find something out of Julian Rodriguez, and it goes for a goal kick.
Altona trusting with a bit of youth and looks like it might be trying to catch Dundee City unawares with the speed that Rodriguez and Habib have. That'll be an interesting battle on those two wing backs. Habib on this camera side, tries to take his man on, gets a throw in nonetheless. Toss it back in. Happy to play back and reset. And onto the far side, lovely ball out far. Just couldn't hold possession, but gets a throw.
Thrown in shorts. So he's there. Ball out of play again. Mentioned Julian Rodriguez a little bit earlier on. Only his 6th appearance of the campaign so far. 11th in his career. He's yet to find an NPL Men's Victoria goal. Dandenong City will scamper away at you. Can't quite get it under his spell. Bib with Valley Chesnick on his back shoulder. Breaks highly for Kenny Matthews. First touch got away from him a little bit. On the way in to deal with that. Chesnick. Rinos infield. Altona will try and keep it. Kawaguchi, who scored a wonderful goal earlier on in the campaign, 1 goal of the week against Heidelberg. It was in a losing cause, but goodness me, it was some finish. Alex Goss, who knows a thing or two about scoring wonderful goals himself, got one of them last week against Hume in the 1-1 draw. Plant shown down the line, he took that avenue on and tried to work away from Bakadanakoski. He's gone over, and no problem with that, say the officials. Mukashar, it's over to the right-hand side. And back Fabrizio. Another play by Jackson Leno. Frangi involved in a 4-way forward too.
Nick has a nice discussion with the fourth official again. Didn't like that holding, but they've got a break here. Alfarinos is flooding forward. His flag stayed down. He's hit it. Two! Fabulous finish. Flag stayed down. Alfarinos slots it past the young goalkeeper.
And there was immediate questions from that Altona backline for offside. It looked very close, but there is rule number 1 in football, play to the whistle. The Magic backline caught napping, and Atharinos with a super run. And with the benefit of hindsight, we can say what we said initially, really, that it was very, very close.
Yes, incredibly close. Obviously, the assistant's got the best angle there, but VAR might have to draw the lines.
Well, it's in the book, whether it's offside or not. By the letter of the law, flag stayed down, and that's what stands. 3rd league goal of the season for Atharinos. That one is offside against Bill Al-Habib. In terms of the crowd here tonight, we might have a larger stream audience, given the crowd or somewhat lack thereof here. It is a little bit cold. By a little bit cold, that's probably underselling it. It is very cold. Midwinter's night in Melbourne, so you can't really blame those who've decided to stay in and put the kettle on.
Fog might be a factor a bit later in the second half. Let's hope not. There's a through ball, not a shot, we hope.
Well, if that was a shot, that one needs to go straight back to the training grounds. That was definitely a through ball for mine.
It was weaker foot.
It's rolled down the right-hand side here for Altona. Fabrizio, well stunted. And now that they're a goal up, Josh, this is where the defensive frailties might get called into question a little bit more. It is still early in this game, very, very early in the game. But Altona now with something to chase might just change their tact a little bit. Fabrizio
trying to get it in.
Try and send it in. He won't be able to. Good slide challenge across to turn it behind by Danny Kim.
Danny Kim came on last week for his 100th appearance in the NPL. Top flight. It's always a good milestone to hit. Just a solitary goal to his name though, so true defender. It's Kawaguchi to swing this one in for Altona. Dangerous ball, right at the head of Piers Clark, who got something on it. It's fine for another corner. And Piers Clark making the immediate shout that he thought he was clipped on the way through.
as every goalkeeper would, I suppose. But no call on that front. And another corner to come in. Eyes again turn to the 6-yard box where there's a little bit of jostling. Kawaguchi with a repeat corner. Left-footed, lower, and headed away at the front post by Danny Kim. Kawaguchi will get it back, he'll swing it back central. So momentarily giving it away, but Mukashar back in, he was clipped. Will Bauer, the man impeding there. And I think any free kick there is one you're not looking for goal from, but this one will be sent in. And to be fair, Josh, that's a pretty easy free kick for Prigadirin to give.
Yeah, certainly so. Boy's easy with that one. It's whipped in low. 2-0 in the end. He can break now with Leno on the far side. Skips past one. Streaming forward.
Ball swung back in towards Athieu. It was under hit for him. Chesnick robbed of it by Bilal Habib, who did really well to win it and keep hold of it. He thought he was fouled. It was fizzed at him. He did well to control it and then work it across. One back smartly by Chesnick. Working infield towards Brad Plant, who lost it himself and then fouled his man.
Just a little bit frantic at the moment from both sides. And just look, both coaches screaming at someone to sit on the ball a bit better, control play a bit better than this. As Gus tries to do that, listening to his coach. No, wins the header just to knock it out.
Going shorts. Frangi almost bumped off it. By Jackson Lino. Play from Anthony Frangi. 30 appearances last time around for Mount Druitt over the state line in New South Wales. 4 goals and 4 assists. Mentioned his Thunder connection earlier on, was also on the books at the Melbourne Knights during 2022 as well. A couple of braces in this league, one of them against Dandenong City, while he was on the books at their crosstown rivals. Athieu, all the way there. There's one signed on at Burnley. Of course, a club who are going to be back in the English top table next season.
Hear the disdain in your voice for that one.
Say again?
I can hear the disdain in your voice in that one.
You're trying to put that on me as the Blackburn fan, are you? There you go. Well, I suppose you're not wrong, but we'll try and take any form of bias out of it. Trenkov. Errant ball forward that might allow Dandenong City back in. Plant with a reverse ball. Atherinos, first touch heavy towards the byline. Tried to retrieve it. And did really well to win his team a corner.
Nick does have a few set plays from his corners. It didn't work last week.
Cuba tries to stand one up. It's headed back across and then away by Owen Away. Hancock back in. Avadarides and flicked on by Athieu, offside the call. And that's the other part of the game that I suppose we haven't really mentioned. When you lose the defensive acumen, you also lose the height. At the back, Giannakopoulos, rather tall. Corey Sewell can throw his weight around. So, in terms of offensive set pieces, might be a bit of a problem for Dandenong City too, but haven't needed them so far.
Yeah, we're relying heavily on Athieu being the being the target man and a Hancock, and that's kind of your 6 foot plus players. Hold in from both there. Gee, bit of pinball here. No one wants to put their foot on it. Can anybody get it? Plant's got it down.
Only 11th appearance season for Brad Plant. Hasn't had the greatest run in terms of injuries, but when he gets on the park, he can make things happen. Scored 4 goals in 7 appearances last campaign. His first appearance in the Victorian top flight. This is 3rd season now in 2025 with Dandenong City. And on the books at Scarborough Athletic in the past.
Reliable non-league player back home in the UK.
There's of them in this league, isn't there?
Yeah, it certainly is. Non-league gets a good reputation. NPL gets a good reputation overseas. So come for a holiday, per se.
You might be thinking of it as a holiday right about now with his team on the precipice of the top 6. They'll be watching Preston's every move. They try and run them down. 4 points the gap as we enter tonight. This is going to be a big game later on this weekend with Preston involved in the match of the rounds.
Yes, they had the opportunity last week between them and Gully, and no one wanted to take that opportunity. This week is his second go at it.
Well, Bibb will try and keep that one in. He couldn't quite. As always, set a tough task. It's been a kind of fixture in recent years for Dandenong City than it has for Altona. Altona won the first 5 clashes between these two teams. The time period spanning 27 years, so they didn't play each other all too often. There's a free kick here in the middle of the park for Dandenong City. Those first 5 games played between 1991 and 2018. The first win for Dandenong City came in the second meeting between the two in 2018, which was the then NPL2 Grand Final. Over towards Chesnick, who will tightrope the touchline and be unable to keep that one in.
And the screams come from everybody to lock him in, try and hold him into this spot. It feels kindly to Athew, who hits it first time, and a very tame shot in the end.
Right off the top, it's been over 5 years. In fact, more correctly so, just under 6 since Altona won here. It was back in 2019. Since their last one here, Altona, so they're trying to put that run to bed. Over towards Atherinos, the goal scorer for Dandenong City, who might well have caught Anthony Frangi there, who stayed down. And the play was about to be stopped there before Anthony Frangi got to his feet. He appears to be okay.
Not happy with the assistant. Watch his tackle, he first flies in.
Free kick taken quickly. Chesnick rolls it infield. Plant is there. Edge of the box! Deflected by Athew, who couldn't get the second touch on the ball. Smart play by Ilya Shalamanov-Trenkov to deal with that.
Yeah, Athew probably actually did his team a disfavour there and got in the way. That was maybe on target.
Of course, we're not to know. I feel like Chalamano Trenko had his angles covered. And it was one of those that, if Afiu had got there ahead of Chalamano Trenko, that would have been the most massive slice of fortune.
Football's a bit of all about margins, angles.
Chesnick surrendering possession. Look a shot up. On the way to go back to his goalkeeper. Ball by Bakianakowski. Fair bit of route one in all of that. As Plant with a first-time ball forward, an expert ball for Will Bauer, who is in for Dandenong City and forcing a brilliant save out of Chalamano Trenko. It should be 2-0.
Definitely should have been 2-0, and there were absolute statues there. You could see that ball was going to be beautifully flicked on into the path of Bauer, and should have done better than that. Had a chance to bury it. Could have made it 2-0 and made it a bit more comfortable for them.
What was the script saying right off the top? Defensive frailties for Dandenong City. We might have had the wrong team in the crosshairs. Corner sent in. It's headed on goal and straight into the arms of Chalamano Trenko from Lambadaridis, who had a fair chance himself to double the lead. Verinos moving away. A little less than 100% after an altercation, but he'll be okay as it's had a play for a throw.
He just clipped the bottom of his boot there. He's on sting, especially on a cold night like tonight. It's going to hurt even more.
Afiu with a heavy first touch. Played by Bakianakowski, who's also spent some time alongside Anthony Frangi in the New South Wales Pyramid. He's played for St George and also Rockdale City alongside Sydney's NPL system. He's also been with Western United too at that level. So not a bad CV across both New South Wales and Victoria for the 22-year-old centre-half. Plants meandering her way down the right before he was forced to check. Moved in fields. Afiu couldn't keep hold of it. Now Rodriguez dropping deep. Lambadaridis and Clark had to be communicative, and in the end it's into touch rather cheaply.
He's pulled up short there.
Perhaps that's why he couldn't get as much on the clearance maybe as he would have wanted, just tried to get it out of play some way or other because he'd had the ailment. And he just pulled up short. Having a look on the replay as he went to get to the ball.
Cold night like tonight, it's the danger.
He just pulled up rather innocuously as he was going to play the ball, and as you say, you don't want to over-aggravate it by smashing the ball, just played it safe. And by the calls from the touchline, it might be Jake Noble who is to come on. And we mentioned off the top the almost laundry list of defensive personnel out of the team, and it appears as though the makeshift paper over the crack solution might need another reshuffle with Lambadaridis, who is not playing in his natural position, down injured. In the meantime, Gost, central, flicked on, and what a save! A fingertip stop it looked by Piers Clark, and behind for a goal kick was the call. It was Fabrizio who got the header on. It looked like it was tipped over. Officials disagreed, and now there's space to make the change. Jake Noble on for season appearance number 3 for George Lambadaridis. in the league, that is.
Yes. Hancock's going to have to play a potentially a bigger role, and in that back line now, he's going to be the seasoned professional there. So big ask for him.
Because one thing you can say about Lambadarides, he's not a centre back, but he's experienced and knows how to defend. And they've not got as much experience with the man who's replacing him, albeit he is a more natural defender.
170 plus games for Lambadarides. It's a big loss just on the field, no matter where he's playing.
Forward ball. Rodriguez will run that one down. Face to face with Jackson Leno. He's shown to the byline and winning a corner. So, Noble into the heart of the defence. It might be a learning experience even for him, just to have Nathan Hancock alongside him. Called into action almost immediately here to try and defend this corner. Kawaguchi to send in, left-footed. It was a Dandenong City one. They cleared the penalty area, but still Altona playing with numbers forward, and those numbers forward would be a little bit frustrated at that from Saad Mukashar. Sometimes it just gets stuck under your feet.
Yeah, you can't blame the grounds. The ground's actually looking quite nice. You might not look it on the camera, but it's actually not too bad.
Away, sent back, and Bauer was interested. Kawaguchi rolling forward. Altona building here, despite being a goal down. Mukashar. Bill Al-Habib. Finding time from Chesnick, and away goes Brad Plant. Just did well to get back on terms, and then Habib helped him out. Really good challenge.
Habib annoyed he lost the ball, so came back and helped, did his team well there, just to help them out.
And that's one way to display your annoyance, by leaving one on the opposition attacker without giving away a foul.
As long as you don't foul him, that's all that matters.
Forward towards Bill Al-Habib, who will keep that one in just... No, in fact.
He's offside.
Offside the call anyway, so it didn't matter in any case. Bill Al-Habib, man who, this side of the new year, made his first international appearance for Somalia. It was a March game against Guinea, to which he made his international debut. Former Heidelberg striker.
Yeah, Habib dragged him round in a circle and then tripped him in the end. So chance for Dandy just to settle on the ball a bit more now. Getting caught into some aerial ping pong and can settle now.
Cuba to drill it towards the edge of the box. Under the foot of Nathan Hancock, who tried to control. Bounced up off Brad Plant, but play on the call. Mazanovsky not happy.
Apologise about any unseen language. Just a few niggly fouls creeping into the game here.
Janikowski looking to play the quarterback role. From over the top. Back to get something on it. Kawaguchi to try and send in. A little bit of frustration between Anthony Frangi and Alex Gust, two Altona teammates, moments ago after Gust took it off the toes of Frangi. And safe to say the more senior attacking player wasn't too happy.
Yeah, just a bit of miscommunication from themselves.
That one's sent back in towards goal. Pierce Clark taking it overhead. Away, electing to turn and try and play his way out of trouble. He's been caught on it. He then went back in and didn't foul his man. It's put back central. Chance might still be for Dandenong City. It's Altona again. It's 2.
Yes.
He has lashed that one in past Ilya Shalamano-Trenkov. And it is a first half brace for Tim Atherinos, who gives his team some breathing space.
Yeah, everyone seemed to freeze after the penalty pill and just broke for him and just lashed his boot through it. And Trenkovski will be disappointed with himself in goal there. It's gone a little bit through him. And he has to turn around and pick that ball out, but it's a little bit disappointed, unfortunately, the young goalkeeper. But bullet of a strike. Put his foot through it. He's got a brace.
And for all the good that Taufik Olumoyewe has done this season, he has been brilliant for Altona this season. That's not a goal he'd like to watch back, I don't think.
No, I hope you'd edit that replay and have the end of that rather than the start. He's been caught a couple of times already today, and Bauer got in behind him, and another one where he's had that picked off from him.
Lean up to win the header. Over to the right hand side towards Frangi. Fabrizio towards Julian Rodriguez, tried the volley. That was helped away. There were fair questions for a penalty in that build-up too, by the way. But didn't matter in the end. There are a few Dandenong City appeals. Bib got away from him. Chesnick in, and Valley Chesnick, not a noted right back. Usually does his best work further forward, but he's had a good game.
It's a good little battle he's got with Habib here. And it's been enjoyable to watch so far. He's probably had the better hand of it so far. Potentially a second sub coming already for Dandenong, with trying to see who's limping or struggling.
Brad Platt doesn't look to be. He's got Atherinos to his right and looks for him. He's sent further wide than he may have liked. Matthew is central. He'll look for him. Towards the back post it went, and the Magic will scramble it clear. So a slip handed to the fourth official as Chesnick controlled with consummate ease. Atherinos. Aren't these Dandenong City players singing off the same hymn sheet round about now? Might well be Will Bauer.
He's the only one who looks like he's struggling.
We will confirm that for you in a moment. Chesnick. Down the right he goes. Away from Gust. Towards Kenny Athieu. A little bit too much on it. He got a foot to it, but couldn't fully control it, ostensibly. Did well to get something on it, mind you, as Plant went in, fouled his man.
believe it was Will Bauer. The coaching staff were trying to work out if he's okay to at least to see out the last 8 minutes.
As Gust picks it up here for Altona. He's got Habib down the inside left channel. It's a nice back flick. Alex Gust there again. Looked to pick out the corner and couldn't quite.
Lovely little bit of interplay with Habib.
And I suppose the other thing, Josh, to your point about waiting till half time, if they use up 2 opportunities to make substitutions in the first half, they would still have 3 potential substitutes in the back pocket, but then only 1 opportunity to make them aside from half time, which puts you in a little bit of a pickle, for lack of a better phrase.
Yes, and losing another senior player to injury is even worse for them, so he seems to be moving a bit better now.
Plant's got the lucky ricochet. Varinos couldn't be found there.
Could be a lovely battle. Just overhit that one. Hancock easy to tidy up. No whistle. Just kept going. Everyone paused. Onto the camera side. So 1-2 off Varinos. It's a little bit fouled, but he wins the throw in nonetheless. He's now goes forward. Big scream of a hurt. He sees where it was going first. Just a bit of unrest from both sets of players, really. It's not anything anyone's necessarily doing, it's just disdain for the situation.
Habib, the challenge, rolled it left, Gust, out of his feet, sent it in, headed away. Mukashar with a little bit of FIFA Street stuff. The slide then from Alpouli, and a play for a Dandenong City throw.
And he finally decided on who's going to be captain. Batteridis was. Johnny Kim's been handed it.
On the way forward towards Frangi. He wasn't far away.
Well, playing for time already, and that's 2-0 scoreline is old cliche of his most dangerous scoreline in football.
It's one of those where he's trying to just goad Anthony Frangi, isn't he? Taking a couple of seconds, but it's one of those where he's just coaxing the opposition player in, just to make a half play for the ball. But he always had it under control. It's very rare you see that come unstuck for the goalkeeper. It has happened, but someone as experienced as Piers Clark, you wouldn't think would let that happen on his watch.
No, certainly not.
Approaching half-time here at Frank Holohan, and for all of their goal-scoring woes, Dandenong City haven't been bereft in front of goal tonight. They've got a couple, thanks to number 22, Tim Atharinos, as Bill Al-Habib with some nice footwork on Valley Chesnick. He then couldn't get away. from the second challenge from Diego Cuba, who has it back. Volley given away. Mukashar. Can Altona fashion something before the break? Frangi towards Bilal Habib. Hancock should cover that off, and does.
Cuba did all the hard work and simple pass, just errant pass, and the attack turns and pressure back on. Gus just gets bundled over. Nothing wrong with that one. Not in any rush to get a new ball to start play again.
It's the last couple of minutes before half-time, well into now in fact. I won't be able to get there. Moving a little freer in the last few minutes. Wonder if there is a half-time change in the queue.
Yeah, that run there will test him.
Looked okay on the eye, but only he'll know how he's feeling.
Altona playing free on the right up as high as they can. Can't get the ball up to them at the moment.
It's almost a 3-4-3 or a 5-2-3, depending on how you want to look at it with the two wing backs. As fouled there was Mo El Houli.
Probably a little harsh on City there. Giving Altona a chance to have a striker goal. We're coming into 2 added minutes. 2 goals and an injury.
Tell you what, one thing I really love about coming to Dandenong City is the final score impersonations, or the match of the day impersonation, whatever you want to call it, Soccer Saturday, Soccer Special impersonations over the tannoy when they read out all the live scores. Well, get one where you're able to hear it, not just over the effects mic, when we get to half time here. There are a few games in the NPLMVIC Victoria competition tonight. Yes. Having a look from distance and scoring! Son Mukashar! A crawl on for Piers Clark. A bubble right in front of him. Wrong footing the Dandenong City custodian. A remarkable way for Altona to find a way back into the game. Inside first half stoppage time, Son Mukashar with an unassuming free kick that completely foxes Piers Clark and halves the deficit.
Well, I did say you can't blame the ground earlier, and Piers Clark is certainly blaming the ground there, and that's just it's poor goalkeeping has given them a window back into the game.
Well, that was all rather amusing. Son Mukashar almost didn't know whether to celebrate. We saw an interesting free kick last week with Alex Salmon when he showed a bit of quick thinking. That one was not quite as quick, but almost as peculiar.
Yeah, I don't know if Clark wasn't ready, but the whistle had gone. He'd set his wall up. I can only defend him in that notion of just he genuinely wasn't ready for it.
Another injury concern. This time there's one for Altona. Bilal Habib, very late in this first half, is requiring some attention.
Altona will be buoyed by this late goal, especially with an opportunity to get the ball back into the box. Do you hedge your bets and go for goal and double down, or do you put it across the box?
Lightning cannot strike twice, can it?
Oh, it's the NPL. I've seen stranger things.
It is the NPL. Very, very well made point. We've seen stranger things.
He looks ready.
This time it's Moel Hawley. Is there something crazy's happened here? It's swung in. And away the first time of asking. Cuba, there's the half-time whistle. Wow. Well, the complexion of this game shifted somewhat thanks to, I suppose you would call it, moments of craziness on part of the 6-yard box in Piers Clark. Dandenong City were absolutely cruising. A brace for Tim Atharinos had got them in a brilliant position. And then a late free kick that was just sent on target, little more than that, from Saad Mukashar. Somehow wrong-footed Piers Clark for his first league goal and only his third in NPL Men's Victoria football. Competition are at 0-0. We're at the break. It is 2-1 in favour of Dandenong City. A very warm welcome back on a very cold night from Frank Holohan's soccer complex, where we have a bit of an interesting game now. It's Dandenong City 2, Altona 1. Dandenong City were leading 2-0 into second half stoppage time before Piers Clark had a moment he'd rather forget. As Dandenong City have got a half-time change made with Will Bauer coming off. That was the one we thought towards the end of the first half. Yagub Mustafa's on for him. We've also got Dejan Bakadanakoski of Altona making his way off. And here's some experience for you. Johnny Stachevski on for Victorian top flight appearance number 133 to provide a bit more experience for Altona. Oliver Walker-Peel and Josh Byrne here with you. And Josh, we've got a game on our hands now.
Yeah, City looked like they were happy and cruising at 2-0, and a howler for the ages has opened the game right up.
Mustafa, first involvement is to keep the ball in play, go along the byline, and is sent away. So worth noting that Dandenong City have now used two changes. They had George Albadarides forced off early with a hamstring injury. As it looked, Jake Noble came on. A weird bounce. If we had a slightly larger crowd here, then maybe Piers Clark went near the football. Lucky for him, we're playing this at the home of Dandenong City, the team he keeps goal for.
Problem for City now is Mustafa was the last recognised player.
Stick with play,
down.
And that's a penalty. Over went Daniel Fabrizio. And a penalty for Altona, and a chance either side of the break for a double blow from Altona to completely flip this game.
He's had a massive air swing and just collected the player. As we have the advantage of having a quick replay to score back yourselves.
It was a quickly taken throw. And that was part of the undoing. So here's the opportunity then. Bilal Habib to get Altona back level.
Minimal complaints from the City bench, so accepted fate.
They didn't have the best luck with penalties last week against South Melbourne in the Cup. The Dandenong City, they've had some luck here! Redemption story for Piers Clark, who made the save down to his right. And spares the blushes, it's sent long. Brad Platt could be in! Oh, goodness me! This is NPL Men's Victoria football for you. The craziness of this league encapsulated in less than 30 seconds. My word.
Great save from Clark, but great distribution as well, to be honest. Putting it forwards, and man could have done better finishing there, but we'll take the save from Piers Clark. Redeemed himself for an earlier mistake in the first half, and it's saved his blushes tenfold there.
Can I be honest with you, Josh? I think you stumbling over your words there says more than any words maybe ever could. That sums it up perfectly. What in the world have we just seen? A penalty save off the boot of Bilal Habib, and almost an assist then for Piers Clark. Brad Plant should have scored.
Mind you, unfortunately, it probably, not to do Clark a discredit, but it probably wasn't the best penalty in the world. It wasn't too firmly struck. It was quite a savable penalty, and Piers Clark showed why he is one of NPL's regulars and sought after signatures.
I tell you what, though, it's the old football adage: you can only beat who's in front of you. you can only save what's in front of you. Guessed the right way, made the save. It was close enough to the corner without being right in the corner. Made the save, and then the wherewithal just to send the ball long and almost provide an assist for a Dandenong City third. Plant towards Kenny Athieu. What a bonkers second half this has been already. The back flick towards Brad Plant, who tries to let it run. He shoots and can't find the corner. This 5 minutes at the start of this half, what else could you want? This is about as barnstorming of 5 minutes, end-to-end stuff that you're likely to see across this league this year.
And Altona's poor defensive record in the first half is on show here, as they've been opened up a couple of times already. And both teams have come out fast and frantic.
I tell you what, this shot at Frank Holohan, this is not a school that defenders would want to be graduating from. Trying to play last off Rodriguez. If there's any budding defenders out there, to be honest, this might not be the game to watch.
Definitely not.
And part of that is down to both clubs not having the personnel that they would like at their disposal. With the exception of a couple, as Bilal Habib was almost in. Alluded to the fact that Piers Clark had redeemed himself. Bilal Habib would be hoping to then do the same.
Yeah, he's still got 35-40 minutes to do so he was reasonably good in the first half, just couldn't break into the box and have a finish and have a chance.
Throw towards Rodriguez, who went back in mind for a goal kick. To break the fourth wall for anyone tuning in this evening, we do have a camera, a commentator cam, set up that's pointed square at our faces. Some wonderful bit of tri-element media innovation in this league. I would be getting across to the socials of tri-element media at some point if I can get my words out to have a look at the reaction, because goodness me, Jin's got a fair bit to work with editing that during the week as Bilal Habib moves in. Skipping in field, tried the roulette, lost his footing, got it back, lost the ball, won the corner.
Lovely turn, Chukwi trying to take it all on himself. And he has the capability to do so, Habib. And he's shown flashes of it.
So 2-1 the current scoreline. It could be different on so many levels. It's swung in towards Oliver Way where he didn't get anything on it. Doesn't look like anybody did. Altona disagreed with that sentiment, but the officials didn't.
We had chances galore in the first half as well. Bell one-on-one with the keeper. Good save and come out in the second half, and we've had penalties and open goals.
Sashevsky up. Julian Rodriguez. And with Chilean heritage. Sees that one square off his back and out of play. Athieu. Bouncing off the lower leg there of Brad Plant. As Kenny Athieu has it back. Chesnick. Got away from Bilal Habib. Valley Chesnick. Towards Athieu. Cuba. And Athieu again. Inside the D, he loses it. Oh, we're playing it a little bit down in Dandenong City, who then wanted a free kick. They're now backpedaling. Frangi. Good first touch from Fabrizio that will draw the foul and the cards.
And again, just little niggly fouls coming into the game again. It was in the first half.
Card there for Jake Noble.
The young centre-back's got a lost the rest of the game on a card. It's a bit of an ask for him.
He was also the man, wasn't he, that brought down Fabrizio too in the box. So he's been in the watchful eye of Puigdemont a couple of times in this second half. Only one booking though. Mukashar to send it in towards the back post, free header! And Stachevski forces the save out of Pierce Clark, tipping one over the crossbar from a free header. Poor checking from an inexperienced Dandenong City back line, almost their undoing.
Yeah, he's left on his own, and Clark ended up comfortable just to tip it over.
Kawaguchi to send in. And it's the edge of the box and back by Mukashar. Might have been on target. And finally, a chance to catch the breath, Josh.
It was a well-hit strike just then, and it was that notion of it just genuinely could have gone anywhere. As that one runs out of play.
It looked from our angle like that one was heading on target.
Yeah, it certainly was. The replay says it was as well.
Tell you what, if that was on target, that might well have been two each. Good first touch, Rodriguez. Pointed by Rodriguez on Jackson Leno. And a rather wise instruction from the Dandenong City bench just to settle down.
Yeah, rightly so. They has been a bit frantic in the first 15. It's now into 15 minutes. 10-15 minutes.
Plant's almost in, set high by Gust. Not dealt with. Ball bouncing and eventually a free kick plucked out of there. I tell you what, sometimes as broadcasters, and I'm guilty of this myself sometimes too, I'll admit, we sometimes overplay moments a little bit. From what I've seen in this league this year, that is about the most crazy 5 to 10 minutes at the start of the first half I think I've seen. This year at least, but going back too.
Yeah, can't remember one myself being involved in a few of those, but it's been a fair while since I've seen one.
And that is my honest assessment. El-Houli, Kawaguchi towards Julian Rodriguez, who tried to get the slip on Jackson Leno. More shouts from the Altona playing personnel and from the bench. Play goes on. Habib receiving from Gust. It's sent back in and away by Hancock. Chesnick to halfway.
Again, we'll apologise for any language caught by the FX mic as we have a look at what they're complaining about.
My first thought was that one inside the box? Could they have had another penalty there, Altona? Or was that one the wrong side of the paint? Where they're concerned, it was inside the box.
It's just a coming together. There's not much with that one. As Poyer's coming over to book the bench.
And one yellow card.
And he's
Goran Lozanovsky will turn into two.
And the comments coming from the coaching staff as he's getting sent off. And to be honest, rightly so, with some of the comments that have come out of the dugout there. Got to protect the integrity of the game.
Everything's back underway. Chevsky involved, now Diego Cuba. Ball in dugout. Mustafa. Flared out towards Jackson Lino. Rolls it infield. Mustafa inside the box. Stood on the ball and it got away from him. And now things happening everywhere you look. On the pitch and off it too.
Yes, it's a shame to see, but right decision in the end, unfortunately. And it's the second time he's been sent off, so it'll be a few more weeks than just the one.
Past the hour mark here at Frank Holohan. 2-1 the score. If you're just joining us and you see that the score was 2-1 at half-time, you might think we've had a quiet quarter of an hour. Penalty save and a sending off for Goran Lozanovsky would tell you the complete opposite. And that's not even telling the full story. Olamuwewe forwards. Frangi, well controlled. Tried to roll it across, he went over. And no foul. Chesnick looking forwards. Olamuwewe, always best place to deal with that.
It's given away again. It's turnover after turnover as Plant drives forward. Just gives it away again, as I was just saying. Bit of a late, caught late as well. Hancock was playing him on. Altona trying to settle on the ball. Keep possession. Lovely save by Pearce in the end. Bit of a ricochet. It's bounced around a little bit, and Altona, once they've settled on the ball, created a chance.
Tell you what, it's a first strike from Frangi. Not the most power on it, but did well to engineer something out of that and forced a stop out of Pierce Clark, who wasn't exactly sure that it was going just wide or destined for the corner. Bit happening in the 6-yard box with the Dandenong City player down. Corner to be sent in.
It's dangerous. It could brawl over here. Kiyauchi ready to swing it in. Swings it in. Doesn't beat Mustafa at the front post. Might get another go. As they come together. Swings it in again. Acrobatics! And got the offside. As he's thrown it up. And Clark has gone down holding an injury as well now.
Potential problem here for Pierce Clark.
Hopefully he's not playing for time.
I don't think he'd be thinking about that right now with
just yet,
about half an hour to go. At least that's not what I think he'd be thinking. But goalkeepers maybe don't think the same way as the rest of us. But no, I'd be crediting this as a injury concern for Piers Clark. Matt Marham is very capable, particularly in terms of being a backup goalkeeper, as he has been in the league at least. He's stolen the limelight a little bit in the Dockedy Cup run that was stunted by South Melbourne just a bit longer than a week ago. But he was impressive and might be needed for what would be his first league appearance of the season and of his career in Victorian football circles at the top level.
Yeah, it's not a position that you often get many goes and many chances. And you have to rely on an injury or out of form, so he seems to be okay.
Which is a good sign, of course, for Piers Clark.
Sits back down.
His error in the first half notwithstanding, he's a wonderful goalkeeper, and of course we want to see players stay out there and not succumb to injury. It's a poor giveaway. Atherinos over towards Yagoub Mustafa. Started on the left, now off on the Dandenong City right. Swung in high towards Athieu, too much on it for him and too high for him. Frangi, first time ball, looking for Rodriguez. Cut out by Kim. And Yagoub Mustafa has it back. Fleet of foot. Kim. And Noble. Lino. Atherinos. Dandenong City playing in triangles. Cuba. Jackson Lino, does he fancy a hit? He did, and dragged it wide. Considering he's a defender, not a bad hit, and good play to work it to that scenario.
Yeah, they worked the play nicely. Down this near side, and showing that they have the ability to hold the ball and create something, and put these Altona defenders under some more pressure. You might hear a bit of on-the-run coaching from the City bench with such a depleted defensive line. Hancock and Noble are getting instructions left, right and centre.
Mustafa. Well played by Bilal Habib to win the ball and help win a goal kick. He's probably thinking about the throw, but it's Altona's ball anyway, so it doesn't really matter which way they have it back. Probably below their best in the first half, but in the second they have shown some signs.
Yeah, a bit more control from Altona in the second half. Even with a frantic first 15 minutes of this half, it's now settled into a bit more of a rhythm from both teams.
Here's a chance for Dandenong City. Diego Cuba. Atherinos is on a hat-trick. Tried to work the yard against Kawaguchi. Sent high, and then away by Alamuwewe. Jackson Lino, he's clipped. Not breaking any news to anybody here, but hasn't Tim Atherinos had a good game?
It certainly has. He's looked threatening every time, and confidence is growing from him. With a just before when he cut inside and happily had a hit. And Nick and his team will be wanting more of that from him.
Diego Cuba over there towards the back post. Punching Shalamanov Trenkov. The judge to have fouled him.
Yeah, Fuse just jumped into him there. He had a right to go for the ball, and that's why it's no more than just a free kick. Goalkeepers being a protected species nowadays.
Talked about capable backup goalkeepers in terms of Matt Marham and Dandenong City. Christian Rossi has worked himself into that position after starting the season with the gloves. Didn't have a great week a few weeks ago. Did Altona against the Dandenong Thunder. Shalamano Trenkov has taken the gloves since then. But Christian Rossi is more than capable. His last appearance in this league was his 50th. There are Magic substitutes warming up. To my eye, I don't think Christian Rossi's one of them, and that might be due to the fact that Ilya Shalamano Trenkov is up, and it looks as though he'll be fine to play on.
Yeah, he didn't even move off the bench. No, that's trusting that his medical staff's fine.
Ilya Shalamano Trenkov, by the way, spent time playing in the second tier of Bulgarian football. Take Slovak.
He must also make a note that he potentially has the longest name in NPL football.
Well, his brother Georgie has a slightly longer name. He's now in the second tier of Victorian football.
We'll go top flight then. He's sent a club bankrupt, putting his name on the back of a shirt.
It's probably good for Altona then that they don't have names on the back of shirts. Georgie Shalamano Trenkov, by the way, at Kingston this year. They were both at Port Melbourne in the top flight last year. Georgie didn't see the pitch in the league. Ilya Shalamano Trenkov did in net. Now making the move over to Altona as Mustafa slipped and allowed Alex Gustin. Dropped it off for El Hooley. Rolled it forward and clocked to play it. Stachevsky. It's arced down the line by Kim. You can see what Brad Plant was trying to do, but it didn't quite come off for him.
Altona need to start pressing. Unfortunately, have the worst goal-scoring record in the league. Only 15 goals. 4.
Christos Theodorakopoulos is about to come on for Altona. Man who dropped out of the 11 against Hume for tonight. Once scored a hat-trick on the final day against the Dandenong Thunder. That one set long towards Farangi. That one will go out of play. Christos Theodorakopoulos about to come on for appearance number 73 at this level in his career. Made his debut at this level in 2016 in a game for Port Melbourne against Bentley, where they lost 4-1.
Had the unfortunate task last year and tag of the double relegation, playing for both Manningham and
Moreland City. I wondered if you needed me to come in there and
going down with both of them. It's not a healthy tag, unfortunately, but he's been used off the bench well for Altona this season. So
chance for Gust. They'll try and send it in. Fine for a goal kick.
He's in their territory. Gust there.
Being relegated with two clubs or being part of two squads that were relegated in the same season isn't too great. When you then consider that he was also on Bentley's books back in 2023 when they went down, it's not an ideal footballing predicament to be in, I suppose, but
I didn't want to put the nail in the coffin.
It's a free kick. Altona not entirely out of the relegation battle themselves this year. At that point, you'd just be cursing your luck if you went down, call it 4 times, if you like, in 3 seasons.
Yes.
He's a really good player, Christos Theodorakopoulos, if you've never watched him before, by the way. All of those relegations, not solely on him. Atherinos, bowled over, free kick.
And Altona bench thinking that one went out. You could have parked a bus in between it. Not a chance. It was certainly in. You could see it up from this angle.
And so often we say when we're talking about refereeing decisions, the referee has the best angle. There we had a pretty good angle, right on top of it.
Yes, and he's looking dead down the line.
And once again, the officials making the correct call as Diego Cuba will send that one in. Might drop for Dandenong City and Valley Chesnick, who didn't get the cleanest of connections on that. Goal kick. Should we go around the NPLMVIC Victoria again? It's not pretty reading for the Melbourne Knights. 4-0 down against Green Gully. Heidelberg still 1 up against Hume. St Albans Oakley is at 0-0. Listening to the NPLMVIC Victoria podcast during the week, the Melbourne Victoria pod. It's been more than 60 years since the Melbourne Knights were relegated on sporting merit.
Yes, I did hear this.
As Kawaguchi will send this one in. It's not been a great year on Summer Street, aside from the opening day win over Heidelberg, has it?
Must add into that the transfer window does open in the coming week, so may see some movement from probably a fair few teams. With some reinforcements needed across the board.
And just to tie it back here, the Melbourne Knights will play both of these 2 clubs in their final 2 games of the season. Dandenong City first here on the 15th of August and then at home to Altona on the 23rd. So these 2 clubs might well have a say late in the piece on maybe being the teams, if it keeps going the way it is, to send the Melbourne Knights down. We are a long way from that though. And we do have a enthralling football match on here as Habib sent that one forward, was clattered into by Hancock. The referee was about to blow the whistle, was watching for an advantage that never arose, and now we bring it back. Good refereeing.
Yeah, very good from Boyer there. Gave it a chance to turn into something. Didn't. Bring it back.
Just on the table, and to bring Altona back into this. Melbourne Knights on 10 points. Port Melbourne on 12. Victory 15, St Albans 15, Altona 18, with 3 teams, of course, 2 automatically and then the playoff. To go down from NPLMVIC Victoria competition this year, it's towards Olam Away. It's behind for a goal kick as there is action on the Dandenong City bench. Are we about to see a couple of NPLMVIC Victoria debutants here?
Yes, we've spoken about all the outs, which that impacts the bench as well, and 2 or 3 under 23 players haven't seen senior minutes. Might get a chance here.
Forward towards a few. Be sent towards the touchline.
If you put him well under pressure there.
Those changes aren't quite ready yet. I'll come this for you in a moment as the staff is off after this. And Cholomanov Trenkov will make absolutely sure that nothing will come of that. Chance for handball. Not amount to anything as Kim will look forwards. We're going to see Nick Theonis come on here in the number 18. Senior debut for him. Hancock going for it, Josh.
Good pressure there from Mustafa all the way. And he will, in fact, come on now.
For Tim Atherinos.
Gets denied his hat-trick.
So senior debut for Nick Theonis. And just have a listen. Doesn't matter at what level, fans of any club always like seeing one of their own come through. Through from the under-23s and on as it's flicked on towards Bill Al-Habib, who is in! And Clark making the save. That could have been 2 each.
Great save there by Clark, sticking out that foot. Made one in first half similar as well. And he's redeemed, ever so slightly redeeming himself.
Sochevsky. He'll roll it across. El Hawley to hit one, just wide. Just to complete the thought on Nick Theonis. He's recently back from a long-term injury that has kept him out for a while. He was a former junior at Richmond before then coming here. Had a spell over in Europe, so we're told, before making the return to Dandenong City. And one of 3 under-23s player is on the bench tonight. Ben Mason, a 17-year-old on the bench who is in Corey Sewell's number 4 tonight. And Matt Goffku is the 3rd.
From adversity and depleted numbers comes opportunity and chances.
And what a baptism of fire it is, Josh, for Nick Theonis to be trusted with the state of the game where it is. 2-1, 3 points not sewn up. Go on and make a difference.
And to play in the attacking line up with Kenny Afiu, A-League experienced player, played overseas. So hopefully he takes him under his wing.
He's taken up position on the left of the Dandenong City formation.
There's good cover behind him with Leno as well. So experienced players around him.
He's playing almost as a pseudo centre mid / fullback, depending on whether Dandenong City got possession or not. He's been used in a few areas. As moving away is Sad Mukashar. Sad Mukashar with Altona's goal, and a rather strange one. If you haven't had a look at it yet, maybe after this game, once it gets to full time, go back and have a look, because it is a bit of a strange one, as that one's flicked behind for a corner. Noble unable to head that one away, but made sure it went away from his goal face and behind for a corner.
It was a dangerous ball in, so he was just happy to get something on it. There's Altona players lurking.
Kawaguchi with another corner. From a Northern Tiger in New South Wales to the back post, all the way up. Shouts for handball. They'll all appear at Puya Guderian. Nothing doing there. Gus took it down. Rolled it across. They've stayed forward here. Gus will get it back. We'll work it across. Theodore Acopoulos going to get a toe on it. They're trying to walk it in. That one's behind, goal kick. Altona are pressing.
That just could have gone anywhere. There's just needed a foot in somewhere from Altona, ricocheting around in the box, and Pierce Clark and Dundee City will breathe a sigh of relief that nothing came of it. Clark thumps that one forward to Kenny's head. A bit of a push on Kenny as well. Doesn't go noticed. Bibb out wide. Cut back inside. And Hancock's there to get rid.
You said it almost right off the top that you said it was a huge game for Nathan Hancock. You then repeated the thought when Lambadarides went off. And from minute one, he has played a really good game when his team have needed him.
Yeah, certainly so. He's been thrust that leadership role, especially Lambadarides has gone off, but he's taken it and done very well with it. There's more shift on the bench below us.
Yeah, with the exception of Matt Marrow, the backup goalkeeper, Dandenong City are going to empty the bench. And if you thought the roar was loud for Nick Theonas for one change, or as loud as it's been all night in that Filipovic stand, we're going to get double trouble from the 23s. In this break of play to make it 3, Matt Goffku and Ben Mason. More on those two in a minute.
Altona trying to muster something here on the far side. Big switch of play. There's a bit of a space in the middle. It's lofted in, not to anybody in particular, and dealt with in the end. Mustafa can drive forward here. He's got Plant helping him, and no one else with him though. There wasn't a talk to him or a conversation to him. Mustafa fouls him.
So a couple of changes here. Ben Mason, former Bentley Greens Junior. This is his second season at Dandenong City after moving from Kingston Heath. Matt Goffku, formerly of the Springvale White Eagles and Oakley, now on. Ben Mason, by the way, at 17 is the captain of the under-23s. They're the two changes for Dandenong City in terms of incoming players. We're working out absolutely who's coming off. There's a bit of talk on the bench. In the meantime, Connor O'Keefe has come on for Altona.
And just so you don't get confused, no, Corey Sewell hasn't dropped 10, 15 years younger. He's just wearing the same number 4. So just so you don't get confused to your usual viewers.
Atherinos and Diego Cuba are the two off for Dandenong City. And Connor O'Keefe, the Scot on for Altona. There's that one sent in, the double punch by Piers Clark. They'd say it's not as secure as we're used to. As Yori Kawaguchi is into the book. Correct myself, Brad Plant was taken off. In that change, it was Tim Atherinos who was called over.
There's a bit of a bigger reshuffle defensively. With young Mason partnering Hancock at the back.
Put forward towards O'Keefe. Fist forwards. And Daniel Fabrizio was taken off for Oakley. For Connor O'Keefe. Ball sent in. And a free kick. Light one picked out. As Gust was fouled.
Honestly, what is going on here?
Somebody was booked there.
It was in the direction of Jake Noble. It wasn't to Jake Noble, because if it was, he'd be getting his second yellow and off. Is it in the direction of Danny Kim, perhaps? There's a fair few
he's
around.
standing next to him.
Kenny, watch the edge.
Oh, it is. It was Noble. It was Noble.
The Reds come out.
Second yellow for Noble.
So we were unsure as to whether we didn't think that it was Noble because the red would have come out, and then eventually it did. So it was to Jake Noble, who is off. I'm sure if it was for the challenge or for dissent.
What is he giving him a yellow card? Oh my God.
Jake Noble is off, and Dandenong City down to 10. The free kick sent in deep and too long.
You can only assume that was for dissent.
Danny,
Unless it was for the challenge, but
Danny,
either way,
stay, you go.
it's a Dandenong City red.
And again, they have to reshuffle again, and that depletes the defensive stocks yet again for
5 added minutes at the end of the 90, and the 5 minutes has got a bit more interesting with that red card.
advantage there.
They're playing on. Gus trying to work away in behind. Going into the middle looking for O'Keefe. Couldn't find him.
Look it. He's holding him. He's fucking holding him. Damn it. He's holding him.
Mucker shot. Over to the Altona left. Rolling field towards Gus. Here's Goffku. Right, expect on his young shoulders now. Particularly now he's teaming down to 10. Mustafa infield, side down by Mukashar.
Sit down. Just sit down.
You can probably hear his bit of disdain for that one, thinking it's worthy of a yellow. He's lofted to Kenny. Mustafa. He's trying to hold it in the corner here. That one went out. There's a bit of a push in the back, made a meal of it. He's Clark screaming that's time already, and we've only just played 1 minute. So he's
Maybe 2, but not 5.
he's
Probably another 3 to go.
a bit ambitious. It'd be a riot if he called it earlier here, Poya.
He's not calling it this early. Just make that clear. Mukashar rolling forward. Chance El Hooley from the edge of the box. Well blocked. Not fully dealt with. Gust. Behind. Corner. Does Ilya Shalamanov Trenkov fancy it?
He's 6'5", almost 6'6", so he's put it on his head.
Corner to come. Right footed. Sent in. Handed away strongly as far as El Hooley. Gust. Just about kept hold. And then didn't. Goku was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Won the ball, won the throw, and it's maybe not the last minute winner into the top corner that he would have dreamt of on a senior debut, but it's something that might mean just as much.
Yeah, just did enough, got his foot in, and you could probably hear from Tolios below us that he probably appreciate that more than a goal at the moment, and it's just defending with heart.
Frangi was onside. El Hooley. Eventually away from Mustafa. Sent forwards. El Hooley down, writhing, and now up. almost there from a Dandenong City point of view, and this will be a big 3 points.
Yeah, much needed 3 points to stay in touch with Preston in that 6th spot. And Gully getting a win as well, potentially.
Would put them 1 point back of Preston, who play Avondale in the match of the round at 3 o'clock tomorrow from BT Connor or Jenny Steele Stadium. Massive game tomorrow afternoon. But Dandenong City, as of right now and as it stands, are doing all they can to put the pressure on Preston. Job not completely done yet. We have probably less than a minute.
Can the 10 men hold on for something? Or with a king of draws?
Frangi in field, that's what we'll find out in the next minute or so. Habib, they've got to get it forward here, Altona. That they do. Chested down to the edge of the box on the turn was Theodorakopoulos. That might be that, and it is. And the exhale, the sigh of relief. Dandenong City, with their backs squarely pasted against the wall, have come up with a huge 3 points at home. No first team defenders almost, no worries. Saul out through suspension, Yiannakopoulos out through suspension, Latham further forward, out through suspension, Lampadarides went off injured early, and still Dandenong City were able to do enough to take the points. It was a crazy game of football, really. Tim Atherinos sparkling in the first half. He had a brace to put his team 2-0 up. Piers Clark with a moment of madness, forgetfulness or otherwise, we're not too sure. Only he'll know, to let through the free kick from Saad Mukashar. We then had a spell inside the opening couple of minutes in the second half where Piers Clark redeemed himself by saving a Bill El Habib penalty and almost provided an assist for Brad Plant down the other end. Wasn't needed. Brad Plant fired over the top, but in the end, it was the young guards, the three who came off the bench, particularly Matt Goff-Coulate, who helped cement the result. Full time from Frank Holohan. It's finished. Dandenong City 2, Altona 1, Josh Byrne.
Oh, yes, breathe and breathe. Breathe a sigh of relief if you're Dandenong. It's 3 points they needed, 3 points well earned. Blooding in some youngsters as well is a good start. And Altona punished for a poor first 20 minutes. Dandenong keep the pressure and keep the fight for finals alive.
1 point back of Preston, just to finish off things, of course, as we mentioned, they play tomorrow against Avondale. Take you around the grounds one final time. A couple of full times, one here, of course, 2-1 between Dandenong City and Altona. Melbourne Knights got a consolation penalty through Kieran Bramwell, but they have lost that game 4-1, which doesn't help them in any stretch of the imagination. Heidelberg with a first-minute goal, still 1 up, approaching the hour mark at Broadmeadows against Hume. St Albans Oakley is at 1 apiece, approaching it. The hour mark, that one kicking off also at 8:30. We will bid you farewell. Enjoy the rest of this very, very cold Friday night if you're in and around Melbourne town. The Dandenong City players are being clapped off, and so they might. A win that showed plenty of might, character and resolve, and 3 priceless points. From Josh Byrne and Oliver Walker-Peel, we will bid you farewell. Take care, stay safe, and goodbye for now.